I think it's time for us to talk.
Yeah,
YBC Dul, man.
They begging us.
Rest in peace, man. Let me just, from my perspective,
no sympathy. Go ahead.
I didn't know about YBC Dul until I did the Skrilla interview, and Skrilla and his brother told me, you got to interview YBC Dul. If you check out that podcast, towards the end of it, they start telling me, you got to fuck with him, rah, rah, rah. I didn't realize they were talking about Mr. Disrespectful, who I had already kind of looked into a little bit, got him on the podcast, and you know, I've had some people try to like compare Crip Mac to YBC Dul in the last 24 hours, and my response to that was, there's levels to disrespect. Crip Mac has dissed the hood that they primarily diss with, okay, but he doesn't do the roll call of dead people, and he's not doing cinematic music videos making jokes about McDonald's because one of his ops got killed at McDonald's, etc. Like, there was just a level of darkness to YBC Dul's persona, and combine that with the braggadocio that he was doing in the Brandon Buckingham vlog that came out literally the day before they caught him. And I mean, it's like, I don't want to see anything happen to these people, but at the same time, like, holy shit, man, he was really tempting fate with some of the moves that he was making.
I mean, be like, so rap career aside and all, like, you know, music or whatever, I think that a way more accurate comparison to him, low key, is like the Taker fools, like that level of disrespect.
Oh,
you know
I said that in one of my unreleased songs coming out. I said I ain't know that. I said I would smoke on my op, but I ain't know him. I just smoked him. You know what I mean? Like, fire. I'm not. We don't out here. We don't give a fuck what your name is. The job done. We ain't finna say nothing else.
They're way more like other cities.
Yeah, like they name, because there's no gang. These people that they been growing up with and all that, like these motherfuckers was bullying them in high school and all that shit. Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't understand what you get out of screaming a dead man's name after he's dead. So
But from YBC Dul's perspective, I mean, that was pretty much what he was known for. Like, his music, probably nobody would have listened to it if he wasn't putting that kind of content in the lyrics, realistically. And like, he made that clear in the interviews. He didn't really think of himself as much of a rapper. He was just doing this because he had people that he wanted to disrespect.
And I also though
there's not even the surface layer of like, oh, I'm just an artist. It's like, no, I'm here to disrespect people. I am Mr. Disrespectful.
I think we have a skewed perspective though on Crip Mac as well, because we know him like for real, and we know that like his heart is very different than what people see of him, you know what I mean, with the eye busters and all that other shit. You trying
to say the homie niced up, nigga?
Not in a bad way. I'm saying, like, you feel me, like, not niced up, but he's like,
he's saying like his heart isn't.
So he's really about this Crip and Lush.
Yeah,
of course he is. Of course he is. But
I believe if C-Mac seen one of them dudes and he was ready, he'd handle his candle.
1,000%. I don't have any doubts about that.
You see where they caught him at, cuz, and what they caught him with on 55th Street.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, though, exactly. So because I have this perspective, or we have this perspective because we actually know him personally, we don't realize how other people look at him as so disrespectful and such a menace to that degree, because once you actually know somebody, you don't see him in the same light like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
So he was our Mr. Disrespectful.
So maybe there is like an overlay that we're not aware of because of, like I said, we know Crip Mac Hart, you feel me? But
true.
With that being said, Philly is just a very, very, like, them streets are cold out there.
I can't believe that Brandon Buckingham was walking around the neighborhood with him like that. Like, in a lot of those shots, Brandon Buckingham is facing the street, and then YBC Dul is facing like the building. So if somebody were to pull up and do whatever, and I'm sure they had a bunch of dudes around, I'm sure they were surveying the premises and everything, but Brandon Buckingham putting himself directly in the line of fire. And I feel like this is probably like a level of attention that he hasn't really got, because it's like he does all these different vlogs now with all these different rappers and all these different hoods. I'm personally fucking used to it at this point of being accused of being a culture vulture and everything like that. Brandon Buckingham, if you watch his videos, and I watched a few more of them since this happens, like he's a good hang. He comes and he hangs out with these dudes in their neighborhoods. He gets drunk as fuck. I was actually astounded astounded by how much he could drink. And he's like, he's just in the mix. And he's talking about ops. He's talking about, gangs and shit like that.
Do you think the drinking helps with that, like the social lubricant?
For sure, these dudes were garnering like more and more respect for him as at one point, him and this dude go back to back and take like 10 shots.
Yeah.
And he had already drank a bunch. I was like, bro, Brandon, you're fucking crazy.
But like,
Go ahead.
I just know that when I was around, like, I'll just use kicking it with Sosa and them. When I first was around those dudes, I had no intention of mentioning ops or anything like that. But if I would get more faded and more comfortable, then that starts coming out.
You
know
start
what I mean?
dissing their ops?
He type shit, like, just because,
Wow.
like, it's like you're
You
like
was over there bapping for bap.
just using certain words
Capping
that
for cap.
You were like, hey, fuck FBG Doug, right?
just you. No, I did not say that.
He off his ass talking about, hey. he
For
shoulda
sure.
ducked-
You were
he
like,
shoulda
man.
ducked him, bro.
You were about, hey, Sosa, hit this, man. Fuck it. GD suck, bro. Hey. You know any of that?
I just tell my little brother who is DJing at a spot, I was like, yo, don't play. He was playing Right Now by FPG Jock. I was like, turn it off. Bro.
Did you-
We're about to be here. Like,
Did you pass him like, hey, you want to hit the tuka?
shit like shit
Yeah.
shit like, for example,
Off
I'm
the
not saying
Zans, for sure you would do that if you didn't know any better.
Because
Yeah,
but it's not even you don't know any better. It's because that's like the word that's being used to describe that, and then it winds up. So if you're in that environment long enough, you start acclimating or whatever. I could see him just feeling comfortable, being faded.
So
like,
when you were
but
with
the-
Sosa, that's when you got the GDK tattoo?
the eye buster
Now
on
covered
my
up?
forehead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just checking.
Yo, so I was saying that during Skrilla's interview, you could tell that Dul, Mr. Disrespectful, was uncomfortable. He like, I ain't supposed to be outside. Like, did you see when he kept saying that shit?
Skrilla?
No,
Duel.
Mr. Disrespectful. Yeah, what is his name? Dul.
Yeah, YBC Dul,
yeah.
Mr. Disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was out there like he knew the shit that the amount of trolling that he's been doing and talking about shit. And I wonder, was he sliding on shit?
It's a good question.
Because it's like
Unclear.
Yeah, because you saying all these names of these dead people, like how many is to you?
Personally, I feel like there's no way that his neighborhood would have been letting him go out there acting like that if he wasn't respected. And I don't really think that, like okay, you could get that respect if you're the rapper. But he wasn't really like the rapper. He was just like, became a well-known rapper because he was dissing his ops. So it's like, I feel my instincts are he must have done some shit.
So was he on his skinny? Was he on his like?
He was on his like 95 pounds.
No, I'm talking about skinny. Is that the dude that was around AR at?
Oh, I don't even know.
The little slim dude that was like, yeah, man, I'm on the run for a year right now. You remember he was telling on himself?
It's been a while,
Like,
but I-
man, he
yeah,
don't come in unless he just smoke something, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I just don't see a person doing that amount of killing talking about it. It's just like, I don't know. I can't say it. I can't.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen it before.
And fools are super high, dude. Like, as to where there's no like filter. Like,
Nah, it ain't no filter, a nigga, the rest of your life in the cell jacking off and getting bussy.
But somebody like Bloodhound Lil Jeff, I mean, he was putting it out there more than Vaughn,
But he never
more
said
than
the
anyone.
names. He was just mentioning events and then
Yeah.
like around it.
You're
and
right,
then
yeah.
you got Chicago. That's like a no-tell city. When do you ever like this duck shit was like one of a kind? Like when do you ever see the other side snitch on a murder in Chicago?
and also like if you listen to the drill in the East Coast, it's every single bar is disrespecting a different op by name.
Especially in the Bronx.
Yeah.
That's
That-
normalized in the Bronx to an extent that Chicago is not as crazy with it.
Yeah.
But also because the Bronx is a bunch of super young ass kids. Like,
Yeah.
they really don't know any better.
Yeah.
But they're literally saying every bar it'll be like the setup bar.
And Jimmy got hit in his brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Timmy
Like, yeah.
knows his thing.
JR got split in the middle. Yeah.
And I rocked that for a shade.
Yeah.
That's every single bar. So it kind of makes sense. that
Listening to Use G's,
he's the king of that.
it's like listening to Cannibal Corpse in the
Literally.
sense of like that's how morbid it is. And then Mr. Disrespectful, same shit. Like he went in that direction where it's like you will very rarely get more than a bar or two without basically directly referencing death and murder.
And use Jesus like a great reference for the metal aspect of it, and because his voice, you know what I mean, he sounds like a demonic like metal singer damn near. Like he doesn't rap, he like demonically growls. You know
Definitely
what I mean?
had that vibe. But yeah, man, it's still sad to see him go, even though he had kind of built his whole platform up on you know, a lot of the stuff that obviously contributed to him getting taken out. But I don't know.
How many times did he get hit?
A lot, I think. Have you seen the clip of him getting shot?
I seen the clip. You remember we were debating if it was a switch or not.
Because it sounded like a switch to me. It's so quick. The dude just drives up and then they just keep on driving. He has to back up to go around the bus.
And he was a real killer. He had the shell catcher on. They didn't find not one piece, no bullet on the ground, nothing.
Wow, and they found that car torched.
Yeah, the other car torched. So it was a G ride already. So they like 100% in the clear. They never popped out. They never did all of that.
100% in the clear. So you're saying that somebody would have to like directly tell on them, or
one of their boys would have to tell on them that know that they went on the skit. Because like, how else? We didn't see their face. We didn't see them hanging out. Or I mean, you know how it worked where they follow the cameras around and see where somebody hopped out at. I mean, I mean, it'd be dependent on shit like that. At this
torching
point.
the car. I mean, like.
But they torched this car probably in a blind spot that they knew about where there was no cameras around.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Come on,
like
this your city. If you go torch the car outside of in the forest or something, you definitely like, oh, I'm finna go right here. You know there are no cameras right
here.
You know?
Yeah.
Somebody who definitely had an opinion about it was his father, who took to his Instagram account or Facebook perhaps saying, "Hey, all of my son's friends and family, etc. I am Dul's father. I was handed over all my baby boy's belongings this morning by his close." Am I going to be able to make this bigger? I guess that's a little. Whoa.
You can make it bigger.
I can do this. Pause. Massive pause. Okay, there you go. This morning by close friends, and I wanted to clear up any confusion. My son Abdul Vix was murdered yesterday afternoon, broad daylight, while sitting in the back of his car alongside his friend, who was also shot in the hand. My son was not on a bike when he was killed, nothing of that such, so that video going around is not him. Stop the false news. I know my son did not live a life of a saint, but I was not born yesterday either. My son was targeted in some set-up plot. That's the only way they could get him from up close like that, and I'm standing on that. For someone to be able to walk up so close to his car was the first red flag for sure, and I promise we're not going to stop till you dudes are exposed. I spoke to my son the night before this all went down, and I just couldn't understand why this talk out of all days felt different. Pops, it's been weird. Cars passing me by for a week now. I don't know. I just feel weird whenever I'm in Philly. I swear, whatever you was running from, son, they was watching you closely, and I'm going to expose it, man. I can't believe it all. I can't believe it. I won't ever want to believe this, and I ever going to shut up because I wanted you to beat the odds, son. I told you the street's a nasty game, especially where we come from. Now I have to bury my junior. My family and I would like to thank everyone for their love and kind messages sent out to send out my boy. We lost a real one. May Allah forgive him for all his sins and make his grave spacious and full of light. Ameen, inshallah. Rest easy, my son. Abdul Qadar Vix. My heart will forever have a black hole in it after this one. Parents, save your kids from this life before it's too late, because I can't even explain this feeling right now. Damn.
I mean, like it's terrible to have to see a grieving father, you know, obviously.
Wild shit, bro.
You know, our condolences to him. At the same time, you don't really need to dig too deep to expose what happened, you know, like as far as maybe the specific incident, yeah, but like your son respectfully was indulging in egregious activities.
Yeah.
So that car-to-car shooting wasn't him. He
No,
said
that
somebody
was.
walked up.
No, he's saying that didn't
said it
happen. because
wasn't a bike.
There was a clip of a dude on a bike getting shot.
No, but he said nobody would have been able. He said he was sitting in the back of the car. How could somebody walk up that close on my son?
Maybe when he put that statement out, he hadn't seen the video yet.
Oh, okay, so that was confirmed. The video though.
Yeah,
Also,
that one is definitely the real video. So I guess maybe he thought that somebody just walked up, because when you actually watch the video, it's like how did that need to be a setup?
Well, he mentioned a bike in that statement as well.
He said he was.
He said it wasn't the clip on the bike.
Yeah, I guess it was a video of somebody getting knocked down.
There was a dude who got killed in Philly like a couple days before this, and the video was going viral. Just people tripping about how crazy it was seeing this dude fucking fall over off the bike and die. But that wasn't him. That was a completely separate situation.
I mean, Philly's probably the most dangerous city in America, damn near right now. As far as big cities,
I wonder what can they do to stop publishing these shootings. It's like making it too regular for kids. Like, we never got to watch the shootings on our phone. Like,
Hell
everyone
no.
that
They got body cam footage of everything, and I don't think there's anything legally that could stop that footage from coming out. You know,
it'd be like for the kids, like, this is what they waking up to every morning. So, like,
oh yeah,
if it gets
so normalized.
Yeah, it's like that's why they drilling like how they drilling.
Imagine having to see that of your homie. Like, it's one thing to have your homie killed. It's a totally different level to see him get laid out on and to have the whole world watching it and having to read hundreds of thousands of comments about it.